Well, my name is Susan Henriquez. I am from the Bronx. I've been in mental health for over 25 years and in the spiritual business in one way or the other for about that long too. I am really, some of the things that are important to me is community, working with young people, and social justice. Those are the things that are important to me, and that's what I bring to Talk to Ma. So, Talk to Ma podcast was, I started listening to podcasts, and I was like, I could do that. And so then I did some research, and it said that you can do your podcast in a closet. In fact, that was like one of the best places to do it because of the acoustics. And I was like, oh, okay. So during the pandemic, I went to Goodwill. I took everything out of extra room I had. I went to Goodwill. I just started inviting kids to come and talk to me. And I called myself Mom because that's what all my daughter and son's friends call me. In fact, I don't think they even know my name is Susan. Because really my target audience when I first started this was young people that had experienced trauma. And the reason why is because during my career I saw that after 18 there was no resources for people. 18 to 30, they like just got forgotten. Like, you 18, like, figure it out. And I remember when I was 18, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. It was such, it was like, oh, I'm a big person now. Like, I'm an adult. Like, I have to figure out what I want to do with my life. And it was scary, And then specifically, young people of color, I felt that we had a special need, right? Because of generational trauma. Even if you come from a more stable family, there's still generational trauma that is passed to you. And then because the thing is that a lot of people my age, they're not getting the help they should be getting. They're not taking care of their own trauma. And I feel like then they look at their kids and wonder why they're acting the way they act. Like, so I just wanted to be that soundboard for young people. And I wanted young people to have a space that they can be their authentic selves. And I wanted to remind them to keep dreaming, and it's okay to fail. And you're more than what you think, and you're worthy of a good life, because nobody ever told me that. I really feel like sometimes I had to dig myself out of what I could have been. When I see some of my friends, when I was growing up, there was heroin. I went through that area that time in my community, and it's seeing people that you love like on the street. I don't know if you ever see the heroin addict, but they don't fall. They just be like, that was traumatizing. And then the crack cocaine came in my community. So now we had to deal with that, and I had to see friends that I knew that I grew up with look like they were the Walking Dead. And somehow I didn't get caught up in all that. And I guess my message too is like, you can do it too. Like, you don't have to be a product of your circumstance. You don't have to keep thinking that you're not worthy, or not good enough, or nobody loves you. And that's why one of my biggest messages, love yourself first. So I am a mental health counselor. My specialty is trauma and crisis. So that's one of the things I offer. But I'm also a spiritual counselor. And so what that means for me is I help people connect to something greater than themselves. And it's not about religion, because you can believe whatever you want to believe, But even, I don't care what religion you're in, people still feel disconnected from something bigger than themselves. And so I try to help people figure that out. How do I connect to something bigger than myself? How do I know that something exists? And one of the things that I highly recommend is being in nature, having an open mind, finding time to be quiet, dealing with your trauma. Find a mental health counselor if it's not me. Maybe you need medication. There's like a lot of different things that we could talk about, and I create that space based on what people give me. I don't try to like push any belief on anybody. We have a soul. We're just not walking beings. We have a soul, and we have to take care of that soul. We have to nurture that soul, right? And we also, I think it's so important that when you're going through bad times, you have that faith that no matter what's happening, you're going to be okay. Because something greater than you knows about you. But the key to that is also, you have to, just like anything else, you have to build a relationship. And that might be like making an altar, singing a song, dancing. I feel like there's so many different ways that we could worship. It doesn't have to be like going to a church and wearing a certain outfit and, looking like this and saying like this. I feel like that makes God very boring. And God is not boring, so neither should you be. I also do house cleaning, which is a spiritual cleansing of the home. And that also is customized based on your need, because different people need different things. Different people might need stronger things than other people, so it's all based on a need. But basically it's going through your house and cleaning and clearing the energy. So I may use incense, sage, different herbs that I combine myself, oils, and things like that. And I go through the house and I clean. We get that energy going for you so that you can, you have to let that shit out, especially now. It's 2025, so you should be house cleaning. Just like you clean your house for the year, how everything got to get clean before the new year. I know that's how I am. You should do that for your spiritual life as well. I'm also an ordained minister, so I can do weddings, funerals, baptisms, anything that a minister can do, I can do. My favorite customers are the ones that want to do things differently, right? Not normal. Those are my favorite customers. So LBGQT plus weddings, or just maybe want to get married at the beach or skydive or whatever. So I'll be that minister there cheering you on. And of course tarot. And I just discovered a new word that I really like for what I do with tarot, and it's called analytical tarot. And what I mean by that is like, it's not based on a religion. Like, people think tarot is like fortune telling, and it's not. It is basically just kind of guiding you to where you're at and where you're going. And then you have an option still to go whichever direction you want. But I find it to be a very great tool when people are not sure about the direction of their lives or they have questions. Right now I'm offering a special for 2025 tarot readings, and it's an hour reading, and I'll help guide you through 2025. I'll also make you a medicine bag that'll be customized to your needs, and also a blessing. You'll get a blessing from me, which means like I'll sage you, I'll pray over you, and so that'll be included with that package deal. So I have a master's in trauma and crisis counseling, and I'm also I'm in school again, and I'm working on my LPC for licensed professional counselor. You had to go there. So my father was an abusive drunk that used to beat my mom and get drunk, and he was very scary. And so I grew up in a home that had a lot of fear. Yeah, so that was how my, like, until I was like 4 or 5, and then my mom kicked him out. But with my mom, I've always been this person that triggers people. And that's why I say sometime on my post, like, I really believe I'm here to do that, because it makes people look at themselves, and people don't like looking at themselves. And even as a little kid, I was always that kid where I would always be questioning my mom and always being like, and ready to tell her that what she's doing is so incorrect. I can only imagine a 7-year-old telling her that. So she and I had sort of a contentious relationship. My mom also got addicted to heroin. So I remember we would go to the hospital. Like, if I got sick or something, my mom be stealing the needles. Yeah, I remember that. And, I'm not trying to talk about my mom. She did the best she could. But that's what we went, that's the kind of stuff I saw. And then crack cocaine came out, and she got on that too. She left the heroin and then got on that for a bit. So I had to go through that with her. So it wasn't, great. But somehow, I really like school, and I always liked church, and I think that's what saved me. And, even in my mom's worst time, she always told me I could do and be anything I wanted to be. So she never put me down or anything like that. She always told me that. And then I had an amazing grandmother who was a nurse and such a straight arrow. So I had like that example of grandma, and then, crazy mom. But, mom was 19 when she had us, and it was during the 60s, and, women were trying to figure it out, and she had come from Puerto Rico. Like, I understand a little bit more now. She had migrated from Puerto Rico, and it was just a whole different world. And growing up, my grandma was really strict with her. And so I think when she got married with my father, she thought that, she was trying to escape that. But she ended up being in something even worse. And then when they separated, it was the hippie time. And me and my brothers, my sister, we got caught up in it, because sometimes them hippie times weren't that great for us, and, in a lot of ways. I think, my grandmother was a big reason why I wanted more. And all my brothers and sisters, we're all doing good. Like, we all, thank God, my brothers, we're all in a good place in our careers, in our lives. And somehow we made it through. And that's part of my story for you all, that I know some of y'all, the thing I don't like about social media is that it pretends that everybody's doing better than they are. And it concerns me, and I want to, I want to speak to those people that are struggling, but, trying to wear that mask like I had on my posts, right? Like, we're wearing this mask, even though we're doing all these things, right? We're like, but we're still, are we being our authentic selves? Are you happy? Do you have all the things you want? Are you grateful? Grateful for what you have today? Because those are the things that bring more. So that's my message. Like, if I can make it, I go back to the Bronx, I see some of my friends not doing that great, and it could have been me. So, and I got to say kudos. I had some wonderful teachers that I always loved school. School saved my life too, because that was one place I could get the hell away from home. And I had teachers telling me how wonderful I was all day long, because I was a good kid. I was smart. And I was always a good kid somehow. But the teachers in my life really, really, that's why I have big respect for teachers, because they encouraged me a lot and saw something in me that I wasn't getting at home. So, my vision is that right now I'm going to have interns helping me with Talk to Ma. I got 2 that I hired, so I'm really excited because, I can produce more things relevant to young people. Although I do also have like a big woman following of older women like me. I guess they're like, damn, Susan. But yeah, I do get a lot of older women telling me they like what I do. And just to say that's the other reason that I do this too, is I want young women to feel confident about themselves. I'm not trying to compete with y'all young women. I want you to say, if she could do it, shit, I could do it too. Right? And love your bodies and love yourself, because it wasn't until my 50s that I was like, damn, Susan, you fine. I just wasted all that time not liking my body, not liking my face, not liking my hair, not really looking in the mirror. Even though other people would tell me that I was pretty, I didn't feel it. And I don't want young women to wait till they're 50 to feel this. So that's my message to the young women out there. And so hopefully getting to do more. I want to do a lot more with local artists. I'm really wanting to do a kind of like tiny desk kind of thing with local artists. So I'm going to be working on that. And, ultimately, if I would look at the big picture, I really would love to open a community center for young people, for young adults particularly, and have the studio ran out of there. And it would be a place where, the studio would be able to be used by young people if they want to. There'd be places where they can do resumes, places where if they need a coat. And I want to do things like help people with their car notes, like things like that you don't really find. So those are some of the things that I want to do. And I really want to start working with young people that have been in the judicial system and figure out a way how Talk to Ma could encourage them. So that is a demographic that I want to reach out to, because those are my people. Like, it could be me. I could be in jail. I could have went a whole different way with this. And so, yeah, those are the people I want to reach next.